up, anybody, and welcome to another episode of the SVR podcast. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, today I'm interviewing with the guy that he is on a cipher by the name of Champion the Rapper Cipher, Champion of course. His name is, I'm gonna introduce to you, his name is ItzSpectrum!
Yo, what is going on, everybody? How y'all doing?
What up, Spectrum? Welcome to the podcast.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So, Spectrum, I'm gonna ask you 10 questions about your musical experience. How much have you progressed? What is your inspiration for you to get into the music? And more.
Yes, sir. I'm ready to do this.
So, you could express it longer, in case if you haven't.
Understood.
Yeah. But without any ado, let's jump into it. Let's kick off with the first question of the day. How did you start making your own music run from the bottom to now?
All right. So, how did I start making my run? So this was probably about, say, almost 2 years ago now. I started making music back in high school. I didn't really know where to start. I was a band kid in high school. I played drums. I was a percussionist. And so what kind of happened is I took a couple classes in music production, and I kind of learned over time that, wow, I really enjoy the ins and outs of recording music and making beats. And so eventually I started making beats on YouTube, and that's kind of what started my YouTube channel, was just making instrumentals. So from that moment, I started kind of experimenting a little bit, especially since I was very nervous with my singing, until about right after high school. I finally decided to record myself, and it all started in a car. And when I was recording, I was starting to think, hey, I could actually make something out of this. And so from that moment on, up until, we'll say, about November of 2019, I just was kind of writing back and forth a whole bunch of tracks that are currently in the garbage bin, because the quality of it was kind of just bad. And so I was introduced to a good buddy of mine, where I work at now, in a studio here in Chicago, which is in the United States. And I've just been working pretty much ever since that moment, up until now, in the studio, making my music sound progressively better, day by day. So
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, man, you've been struggling to figure out your own sound, man, and basically, for now on, you have been, progressively improved whatsoever.
There's been definitely much improvement for sure. It's still, something I'm searching for, but overall much better than it was. So
Sure, man, sure. Next question. How much have you been progressing through your music?
So that tailors back to the first question, right? So the progression that I've been making in music it's kind of interesting, because I started just kind of dabbling in stuff just kind of out of the blue. I started just picking beats that I made back in high school, and just started rapping over them. I've made heartbreak songs, I've made sentimental songs, I've made songs that are just meant to just give you just relaxed and chill vibes. I've done a whole lot of things. and the more and more I've gone into it, the progression from each and every track has always improved, and it's always in terms of lyricism, because that is what's important to me in music. If you can't find new ways to be lyrical, if you can't find new ways to improve your sound, whether it be through rapping or singing, and it eventually just gets boring after a while, and you don't feel like you have the motivation to do it. So as I've been continuing, I've been trying to find new flows, I've been trying to find new patterns, and especially, hopefully, when I release my upcoming album here, which I haven't announced yet, but I am currently working on, I hope to kind of explore a lot of that progression that I've made and take it even further.
But from what I heard, you have Champion the Rapper and Blindside on the same song in kind of like an upcoming album. So can you tell me why? What was you expecting to put Blindside on the song? Legit.
So that's the thing. And I'm currently yet to reach out to Blindside about that track in particular. But it's more so just who am I willing to get in the time that I have, and who do I feel like would fit on certain songs. And so when I asked Champ to be on a specific song for the album, or just on a track in general, I was thinking, all right, where can I see putting these other artists on, what kind of track do I want to put them on, and kind of just mesh it all together and make it work. And so when I was told about Blindside, and of course I've heard about Blindside before. He's been on a bunch of other ciphers. He recently just released a cipher about a week ago. I was thinking, he actually might be a pretty good fit for this. So, and like I said, we'll see if I get a response. Hopefully I do, so that I can continue putting this album up forward.
All right. The third question. Now, listen. There's a lot of rappers who get inspired for getting into the music, but for yours, it will be simple to express it. But who has been inspired? Like, who inspiration for you to get into music in specific?
Ooh, all right. The specifics of this, right? So, in terms of who has been inspiring me to make music, there's one artist that comes to mind, especially from the back in the day when I was just listening to him in a car. I had CDs, and that's Eminem. Eminem is my number one big artist to listen to, and a lot of people will say that, obviously because of how many stans there are out in the world. But it's just his evolution from album to album to album has never stopped. A lot of people say that he's diverted himself from his old style, and I've never thought that was a bad thing. Same thing with the other big names of the Trinity that I think of, Logic and Joyner Lucas. Those two, I definitely feel like my style is more tailored towards Logic, but in terms of storytelling, I feel like I aspire towards Joyner Lucas, because their styles are so versatile. They can fit so many things, no matter what song they're trying to go for. And we've heard this, especially in Logic's album before he left and came back, and then Joyner Lucas when he dropped his album about a year ago. or little less than. It's just there's so much versatility. The last artist I will say that has really inspired me is NF. NF has made his come up very, very recently. He's made his presence very well known. Lots of storytelling, lots of realism in his music, and it's something I connect with on a very deep level. So when I write tracks, especially tracks, tons of tracks that I put on albums, I tend to always have a message behind it. I always aim for realism.
You gotta keep going for what you do, like what's the best for you to do in music, and yeah, that's pretty much how you will go in the future as well.
For sure, definitely.
This next question, a lot of people feel confused about your rap name, Spectrum, some sort of like they don't know what does that mean in specific, but I will let you know what is the meaning behind it. But next question is, how did you come up with a name called ItzSpectrum? Does it have any meanings behind it?
Okay, so that's kind of funny. So my original rap name was not ItzSpectrum. It all started with my original rap name was ESP Music, and the abbreviation for it was my first and last name, and then Productions. So ESP, and after that, of course, being music. And after realizing how terribly cringe that name was, I decided to change it up. So I decided at the time, I'm thinking, well, I want to be versatile. I want to be diverse in music. I don't want to just fall under one category. But I always want to expand myself into different styles of music. So when I did, I came up with the name Spectrum, because the meaning behind Spectrum is almost self-explanatory. You've got like the audio spectrum, you've got the light spectrum, you've got just the thing with that word is it's different types of the same style, or different types of the same like category, I should say. So when I say like it's Spectrum and you hear me on a track, it's half the time you're gonna hear me sound completely different, because I always like to stay diverse. And of course the reason it's now ItzSpectrum instead of like Spectrum or Spectrum Music is because I wanted to brand myself, and I wanted to make it so that when I do market myself, when I do get out there in music, people will know the catchphrase, because I always say it half the time when I'm, spitting on a dope track, and it's just something that people will catch on to in the future. So,
yeah, I mean, I think Spectrum means like you have different sides of your character in the like light and I don't know, a subject, like object, some sort of.
Yeah, something like that. it's just really what it is when you're thinking like audio spectrum or light spectrum, you're usually thinking it's like, okay, it's not just one thing. It's multiple things connected to like one centerpiece, essentially. So
next question. Now, I know you have a lot of goals that you have reached, but this one specific, there's only one that it's considered like most ultimate to you in the musical industry. But what is your ultimate goal in the music industry?
My ultimate goal in the music industry. So my ultimate goal in the music industry, and I will. This is because this is being recorded. This will definitely be me saying this on record. Is the fact that it's not really to get famous. I may sound like, especially, of course, like if I eventually build an audience and I, get famous off the audience I have, that's totally fine. But my ultimate goal is really to help struggling artists like myself um, come up and build themselves. I work with an independent record label, and that is our entire goal, is to help people like us who were kind of outcasts, stuck in the underground scene, help them build an audience in that scene, and have them become more comfortable with their music, with their style, letting them kind of thrive so that eventually they can start to work on their own. They can learn to be independent and make a living off of what they want to do.
Okay. Next question is, now, when it comes to lyrics itself, when you're writing, you've been trying to struggle out to figure out how you're supposed to, come up with, I feel this hits different with the lyrics, whatever. But this next question is, what is your writing process when it comes to music?
So my writing process is, it really all depends. First off, I'm not a freestyler. Anything, if I try to freestyle, I get halfway through it and it doesn't end well for me. So it's a long thought process, especially for songs that have a message behind them. I always try to tailor towards the message in some way, shape, and form. For tracks that I've done recently, I've always stuck to kind of taking that message and seeing how long I can elongate it for whenever I do a verse. And I always tailor back to the message, no matter if it comes back to it in the hook or the chorus of a song, or whether or not it's just me spitting absolute straight bars on a track for no reason. I always tailor towards something. I never just spit without reason. There's always a hidden message within anything I write. And especially when you listen over and over again, you'll never know what to expect. So
Keep going. Do what's the best for you. Again, no matter what gets your way, music is what you have been struggling and what helps you the most to find your own sound.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But this next question is, it's really like, as an artist itself, like yourself, feels like itself in a way that you feel like you should retire or quit for several reasons. But have you ever had a moment in the music when you have felt like giving up?
Oh, all the time. It's honestly, and if I'm being honest, it's something that I've thought about recently. And it's always something, whether it's I'm hitting a writer's block, whether I'm having to deal with people who just are like, what is this music? Why are you just like, you're just a copy of everybody else. You're not, sounding normal. And to the average person, it might sound like that, but the people who kind of listen a little bit better, they'll start to realize, like, hold on, he's got a little bit of himself in there. He sounds like himself. He sounds pretty good. And it's always hard to appease an audience. And that goes for anything. You're always going to have people who are just going to throw you under the bus, people who are going to backstab you. You're always going to have people who just end up completely wrecking you. And at the end of the day, it's stuff like that has made me realize, like, it's not a reason to give up, but it's a reason to push forward. Same thing with the writer's block. Everybody has it at some point in their life. Even big name artists have had it. They may not tell you that straight up, but they have. And it makes you feel like you don't know where to go next. So sometimes it makes me think, yeah, I think I should be done for right now. I don't want to continue doing this. But at the same time, if I don't continue doing it, what does that lead for my future? Where am I going to end up? Where am I going to go? So I've definitely felt like giving up before, but like I said, it's a lot of those moments that the feeling of giving up, instead of letting that happen, I use it to push me forward and to continuing.
Yeah, but you don't have to give up for any kind of reasons. You have to keep going until the time is over with you. Wait until the future. You will see how it goes.
Yes, 100% agreed. So,
next question. What music means to you when it comes to you experiment with?
Right. So when it comes to music, I realize there is a typo, but it's all good. So what music means to me when it comes to stuff I experiment with, that's kind of interesting because when it comes to experimenting with music, the one thing that I try to do, like I said, is I always try to stick to a message. Experimenting comes with trial and error. You're always whenever you're trying to write, you're always thinking, okay, what do I want to say in that moment? And what do I want to follow it up with? And when it comes to tracks, where it's solo artists or collaborations, it just kind of, I don't know, like, solo tracks I tend to always have, it's a longer process, especially when I'm experimenting with different styles. But when it comes to with collaborations, it's just a snap of the fingers and I'm done with a verse or a chorus within like 24 hours. Like, I can write something and give it back to you the next day if it comes to collaborations, because in my opinion, that means that's more important for me to be working with other artists. And I guess that comes with what music means to me is what I see is just a collaboration of people working together with a collective goal in mind. And that's kind of what we all do in the music industry. I don't really see having, issues with other people because they're just like me. They're trying to build their craft. They're trying to continue forward. So in that instance, I'd rather help them than hinder them because we're all in the same boat together.
This next question is, where do you see yourself in the future for music?
Okay. So I've broken this down into a small little timeline. And I think everybody asks themselves this question at least once or twice. And after they reach a specific point, they'll ask themselves again, where am I going to be in 2 years? Where am I going to be in 5 years? Where am I going to be in 10 years? So for the future of music, it's a gradual build for me. I know it's a long and rough road that I've got ahead of me. I know I've got a small little base behind me, and I definitely am going to continue working on my craft. But my entire hope is that in about 5 years, I hope to start reaching my ultimate goal of making a record label that reaches out to struggling upcoming artists, people who want to do what they're doing but are cast out to the side because there are people who don't want to take them in. And hopefully within 5 years I can reach that point, so that for the rest of the time that I'm here in music, I can eventually leave off what I did as an inspiration for other people to continue doing however many years down the line.
And the final question of the day before the podcast ends. Now, if you could describe yourself in one word regarding music, what it will be and why?
One word I always fall back to, and I think I've said this a lot during this interview here, diversity. Diversity is the one thing I believe in when it comes to anything. You don't always want to be stuck in one box. You want to be able to expand your knowledge, expand everything you have, so that you can take it to different places. And in terms of music, I'm always going to fall back to where I started, which is, of course, hip hop. But I, of course, eventually plan to extend my reach to like more vocal tracks where I'm just singing completely throughout, or maybe in times where I can expand to like different subgenres of rap, like rock rap, or maybe working with UK artists like Champ, for example. Just overall, being diverse is the number one thing for me to do whenever I'm in music, because it makes me continuously think about what I'm doing and where I'm going to go next. It's never putting me in a spot to where, okay, what's going to happen to me after I just put out this album? Like, I'm not just going to stop. Like, I have to come up with something else. I have to follow the old roots of the old album while coming up with new ideas for the next one. So I would say that is definitely where the one word I would use there is diversity.
Well, that was it, folks. Spectrum. If you have anything to say towards the outro, may make it somehow.
Okay. If you guys are interested, anybody who watches this, if you guys are interested in listening to my music, my YouTube page is ItzSpectrum, ITZ Spectrum, SPECTRUM, and that has all my socials on it. So if you want to follow me on my socials, I do more than just music. I am streaming on Twitch. I plan to go do reaction videos and a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, go ahead and follow me. And yeah, I appreciate being part of this amazing journey so far.
Yeah. Make sure to show him some love in his music, man. He puts a lot of effort, and the links of his social media will be linked in the description below. And I will see you guys in the next episode with another artist guest that I could reach out to. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next episode.